My name is Yishan McNabb.
And what did you just do?
I got second place at YCS Portland with Gren Maju.
Okay, so why on earth, of all decks, in this format would you go with Gren Maju?
It's just my pet deck, ever since that YCS in San Diego. Since the feature match, I've just been playing it, off and on, and I came up with this spicy build, wild deck. Didn't think I'd do as well as I did. Definitely got really lucky. Played pretty bad sometimes, but it's better to be lucky than good, I suppose. Better to be lucky than good.
Very true. Let's go ahead and walk through it for everyone.
All right. So of course, three Gren Maju.
So how much damage did you do with this guy, max?
Let's see. So I think 41 cards banished is what I remember. That's 16,400. Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
Not bad.
One shot.
It's important to note that he's not, he's like a secondary win condition. He's just part of the deck. This is like a not relying on Gren Maju deck, which is very different from past Gren Maju decks where you're sort of just relying on Gren Maju to win. But I'd say about half the games were won without this, and half the games were. So, yeah, sort of a secondary win condition. New card, which makes this deck possible.
Oh boy.
3 Gizmek. So a lot of builds I've seen, I've seen the stun build that's pretty popular in the OCG where they just play like borders and stuff, but it really doesn't utilize the power of this card. And so I figured when I was trying to build this deck, I was going to build it around this card because it was very powerful and obviously fits into Gren Maju very well. And so I wanted to use the rank 8 capability because it's level 8, right? I didn't want to just summon it, as a beater because I didn't think that was good enough. And so I wanted a strategy to sort of help this card. So it's sort of a rank 8 style deck. And so what I do is I also play 3 of the Thunderbird and 3 Bigfoot. When I was building this deck, I just went on Dueling Book, selected level 8, and just scrolled through all the cards. But it turns out these guys are still the best level 8s to summon. I always blind second with this deck, and so even if they, hit it, you can still pop a card usually. You do have to get lucky with these cards, and sometimes you get unlucky, but I think the drawback is certainly worth it, as we've seen many times over the past, with all the danger decks running around. Still run 3 Eater of Millions. It's just solid card, especially if you're going second, solid card. Yeah, not much to say about it, really. It banishes a lot of cards, so it's still good. 2 Pankratops. This was sort of random. I just had 2 spots left in the deck, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I guess it was either hand traps or this guy. I'm not a fan of hand traps in this deck. Actually, maybe I should run more hand traps. I'm not sure about that. Maybe this should be a Phantasmate. No idea, but it's sort of it's never bad going second. So, solid card. 2 Hex Truths. So this is where we get a little even spicier. So to go with all the level 8s, I needed another level 8 engine because it's really nothing. It's only 9 level 8s. And this looks like it only adds 11. Let's explain what this card does. So it's relying on the field spell pretty heavily. So if you have the Golden Castle Stromberg, you can just normal summon her. Golden Castle can also special summon her from the deck. And so we run about like 7 Golden Castles, so that's how we get a little more consistent with the rank 8 engine. She's very strong. She can pop a card on the field if you control a Golden Castle, and then she can make 2 attacks on monsters, and then if she destroys a monster, she can buff something by 400. I don't know why they put all these effects on here. It's kind of random, but whatever. So very good. And then the rest of the monsters, we have 3 Glyph the Phantom Bird, which basically, you can... If you summon it, it pops a spell and trap. Basically, you're using it to get castle most of the time. And then...
You discard it to search castle.
Yeah, you discard it to search castle, yeah. And then we have 3 castle to go along with the rest of this engine, I guess. This card, basically you can special summon... You can special summon either of these. I don't really want to draw this too much, so I ran 2. So you can special summon this or this, usually this, because it's better. There are some situations where you summon this, but whatever. This guy, so yeah, he's got 3 effects basically. Can special one of these guys from deck, and then you can't normal summon for the rest of the turn. But that's okay, because the only card you ever normal summon, really, in this deck is this. So that's... A lot of Gren Maju decks have this weakness where they don't have good normal summons, and so this is basically your normal summon. And so that was sort of the theory going into the day. So can special one of these from deck. During the standby phase, I have to banish 10 face down. It does boost Gren Maju, and that can be relevant sometimes. So it's pretty cool. And then
did that Banished ever hinder you?
Good question. I'm not too sure. I played this deck for a while now, just online and in person sometimes, and I'm so used to the Banished 10 that it's just sort of part of the game plan. Like, if it starts to get, of course you can get really low. In my top 16 feature match, I was like 1 card left. I was playing against Necroz. My opponent made a mistake and summoned the Valk for some reason. And I knew the last card was Gren Maju. So I drew an attack for game. But that game I would have lost. If he just kept the Valkyris in his hand, he could just negate the attack, pass to me again, can't draw, so I lose. So it does, yes, it can come up. It's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, right? This deck tends to run out of cards extremely fast. It's a fast deck. You're literally blowing through your whole deck in like the first 3 turns, and so a little risky, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's exciting. 3 Pot of Desires. Yeah, gotta play this card. When I was playing testing, sometimes I would take one out if I really needed a grind, because like I said, this deck just blows through the cards so fast. And it's like, maybe you want Snake in that matchup more, so you want to activate Snake more times instead of drawing cards. But I very rarely side it out. It's just too good. Too good. Then I made 3 Super Poly. It was great, actually, today. It's funny, because I played against a lot of matchups where it wasn't good, but I never drew it. And then when I played against matchups where it was good, I did draw it. I sacked a lot of people with this card. I sacked my top 8 matchup against Walter Jewell with this card. Basically, I summoned a Danger, and I top decked this, and he had like a bunch of Salamander traps face down, and you can hold priority after card effects resolve if you're the turn player. So I activated this, took his board, and then ended up winning that game. So it's very good. This deck has a very good Salamander matchup, and so this is one of the reasons why. I also think if you're playing like a not a meta deck and you want to do well, you might as well go for the sacky cards, right? You need to sack people to win, and so especially your deck is not as strong as other decks. 3 Call by the Grave. This is the most not sure about this card. I was talking with my friend. He thought maybe Phantasma would be better, or maybe just a hand trap, but it was fine all day. There are a lot of annoying cards for this deck, like the Heretic Seal, so you can sort of negate that, although this doesn't have a great matchup against combo decks, especially now that a lot of people are banishing cards from your extra deck. So this card isn't even as good because they'll just take your Starving Venom. So yeah, this card's good though, solid card. And then 3 Trade-ins, so all the level 8s. I really like this card. Sometimes, you can just blow people out, right? You discard a Danger, pop a card, discard Gizmek. It can summon from the graveyard anyway, so it's like drawing 2 for free. Against my Necroz opponent, he summoned. Maybe I don't remember what happened in that game. Sorry. I got 1 Terraforming, search Castle, so that's good. Then 1 Foolish to send the Gizmek. And then 1 Monster Reborn. Really like this card in this deck. A lot of times you need to revive stuff in your graveyard. It's like I was worried, if I have a Danger and a Gren Maju, if I discard the Gren Maju, then maybe I'll, this is like a 4th Gren Maju. And there are a lot of good rank 8s to revive. Yeah, so that's the main deck. Any questions? Any questions about the main deck?
Just 40?
Just 40, yeah. It's a little risky because you blow through your deck so fast, but gotta draw Gren Maju, right? So.
See what else you got.
All right, extra deck, a bunch of rank 8s. So these, no one ever summons this by overlaying 2 rank 8s except me. Turns out, yeah, it says 2 level 8 monsters on there. Wow.
It's generic.
It's generic, yeah. I just like, I was like, oh, this card's pretty good. And the protection effect is bonkers, I think. Really makes this card incredible, especially if you have 2 materials and it's not once per turn. So there are a lot of like, I need to protect the floodgate. It's not once per turn. You just detach, whatever. Yeah. 1 Hope Harbinger. Only use this in my last 2 matchups against Striker. This deck has a pretty bad Striker matchup, and so he does work, but wasn't good enough in the finals. 1 number 68 Sanafod, the Sky Prison. I summoned this guy a lot today. Sometimes you're not summoning him at all. Sometimes you're summoning him a lot. Put like 3 Salamangreats. Basically, what you can do is you can detach a material, and then neither player can special summon from the graveyard, which just, it just hurts Salamangreat a lot. And it's a very solid card. Summon him a lot. a lot today. I played against Infernoid round 1. Thank God, because Layer of Darkness is very hard for this deck to deal with, but if you can get this guy out against Infernoid, they have a hard time winning because they can't summon from grave. Then Zombie Stein, 2 level 8 darks. I summoned him once. Okay, maybe the weakest rank 8 out of all of them. Just the fact that he sort of has to pitch a card to negate something and changes himself to defense. Luckily with Castle, that's not a huge problem. Oh, did I not talk? Oh my god, so sorry. This thing has a last effect where if you attack, if your opponent attacks you, you just blow up their monster, not once per turn. So basically, if they want to attack, they got to get rid of this. So this is a nice little combo where, you know, if this is, it's okay that it's in defense. Came up once today, won me the game, so that was good. But I don't think there's a better rank 8 besides this. And then these 3, these are the Galaxy rank 8s. So basically you make 2 rank 8s and then you can steal a monster with this guy. So these are pretty good against like Thunder Dragon or in a simplified game state. So like I won a game, but I lost the match against Pendulums round 1. So basically, you know, you summon this, you take a monster. Usually you take their monster, and then you can overlay into, I think it's this guy level 8. Yeah, this guy. So this guy just goes stacks right on top of him, detach a card to pop face-up card of my opponent controls, I believe. Yeah, face-up card of my opponent controls. And then I can stack this guy, and this guy can pop any card. So sometimes, you know, if they have another card to pop, you just pop the last card that they have. If for some reason, like in the Thunder Dragon matchups, you know, they have Colossus. I don't want the Colossus to return during the end phase, but I also don't want to make a Link 2, because I think that's, you know, maybe it's a little weak. I'd rather have the huge beater. So you can just detach and pop the monster that you stole. That way it doesn't go back to during the end phase. You can't attack directly when you use this guy, but it can just snowball you ahead in a game where that used to be pretty even. And then for the only 2 Link monsters I summoned today, Barricade Board Blocker and Nightmare Phoenix. So this card is just great in Gren Maju. It's going to be here for a long time in these kind of decks, where you just clear out the last background that they have and then attack for game. Barricade Board Blocker is a little more interesting. It protects your Golden Castle. So like this is like a, you know, these 2 out, they can't attack this because this will kill something, and then if they can't kill this because this protects it. And so I won a game today because of this. So that was nice. Yeah, so this card's pretty good. I never summon these guys. Definitely should play these 2. I was thinking about playing the BLS Link. There are a lot of level 8s or higher in this deck, and the card's pretty good. So I just didn't really have time to get it for the tournament, so I didn't play it. This card I use sometimes, almost never. Sometimes you go with the rank 8 plays, you make like a Link 2, like either this or Phoenix, and then you want to make another rank 8 because your hand's very good. I'm not sure if this card's necessary. Just got banished by Eater a lot today, all that stuff. And then the last 3, all super poly targets. Merdragon, summoned him once against the Necroz player. Chimera, I was thinking about playing Dixpler Chimera, which is like the 2 Cybers super poly target. But I figured no one was going to play like Murincess or something. And this guy's also level 8, which is extremely relevant, because, you know, a lot of times you just blow your Salamangreat player opponent out, summon this guy, summon another level 8, attack, make Sanafod, and, you know, they're toast from there, usually. This guy came up, clutch 2. You can use your own monsters. It helps sometimes to go for game, so don't want to forget that. Notice no extravagance in a Gren Maju deck, which is pretty... I really was uncomfortable with that because extravagance is such a powerful card, but you really just cannot play extravagance in this deck, because all your dangers draw, you have trade-in, Pot of Desires, and then you also, the extra deck really does matter in this deck, and so you can't really afford to play extravagance. But that's not saying that extravagance Gren Maju decks are bad. They're probably very good as well. I just wanted to try this out today. Side deck, let's see, this is the best card in the side deck by far. There can be only one. I played like 3 Salamangreats today, and so this card just is lights out. If you notice, so we'll go through the monsters again. They're almost all different. Fiend, Machine, Winged Beast, Beast. This is also Fiend, unfortunately. and then Dinosaur, and then Hextrude is a spellcaster, and then Glyph is also a Winged Beast. But yeah, so this card is very good. Honestly, I wish I played more Floodgates, because I think those are just the, you're just trying to cheese wins, right? And so, maybe more Floodgates would have been better. Not sure, but some Spell and Trap removal. 2 of this. I didn't play 3 of this because I was also playing Gamma, which I saw like once today, unfortunately. Maybe just more hand traps. Maybe you could play like 6 hand traps. I just want to play a hand trap that couldn't get called by the Graved. That's basically it. If you're not gonna play that many hand traps, you should play ones that won't get called by the Graved. Because so these were like okay. This helped against Striker in my top 4 match, and these were solid. And I wish I drew this more. And then my last card in the side deck was 3 Eradicator. Never resolved it once, unfortunately. I only brought it in against Striker. I brought it in once, but it was a mistake. I shouldn't have brought it in. And I just never drew it against Striker, so whatever. I brought it against Necroz once, but I never got the chance to activate it. I'd probably just play Gozen match instead of this card. Striker matchup's pretty bad. I gotta think. I'm gonna have to go and think about how to deal with that matchup because it's pretty tough. But yeah, that's it. That's the deck.
Final shoutouts?
Yes, I have a few shoutouts. We're running a Yuga club at my school, Yuga club at UCI. So if you guys are, maybe if anyone's planning to go to that school, make sure to check us out. We have a YouTube channel which is Yu-Gi-Oh! UCI. We post videos with whoever in the club, just posts random videos. So it's pretty interesting. My girlfriend, she's sad that we have to drive back. Probably could have left like 5 hours ago if I just lost in top 32, but can't do that. And then of course to everyone in the club, and yeah, that's basically it. Thanks to everyone that I've been playing. Moved down here moved to Cupertino for an internship. I've been playing with some people at Channel Fireball, which is doing some Yuga tournaments, and so thanks to them as well. Yeah, that's about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.